Julie's here, and yeah, Loretta, Trevor. Okay.
And Rand, it is now recording. John, just know that you're muted if you need to say anything. Okay, go ahead.
I'm Dave. Let's just review who's on it. John, Dave, Wade. Jamie, what?
Well, can you see us? It's Jamie, Trevor, Loretta, and Julie.
It's
And-
a 4-inch square thing on a computer screen, and then you guys are not micro size. I guess you should read. And Loretta.
Yeah.
I think we have all FAB members, current FAB members. That's good. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. I'm bigger on business rules than Robert's rules, so let's start. Everyone have the agenda? It's really just old businesses. We have to approve the meeting minutes from January 6th. I think I mailed those out. We all kind of did that back at the time, so this is just a formality. I think Jake is going to post them as finalized. Unless somebody has looked at it and has something to say. The minutes?
Move.
Okay, approve. The new business is to review the budget, draft budget, and fee schedule. And I also, second to that, we keep a running tally if there's any comments, concerns, feedback, etc. I'll try to make some notes and key things, and Wade can as well as.
Yeah, I'll be making notes as we go.
We're going directly into the work session, so is Kristen there?
I am here.
She is.
Kristen? Okay, I didn't write her down.
Just click on the share button.
Okay.
Just sent you.
You want to start where you're going through the,
Yeah, let's jump in. Okay, so Councilman Merrill just showed up as well, so mark her down as well.
that's what I was asking.
Okay, so let's jump right into it because I know we're all busy and we have other lives, and the last thing somebody wants to do is sit through 2 hours of number budgeting. So what we'll do here, let's do this. Let me share my screen, and those in the room can look up here, and those online should be able to see it. Do you see a Town of Star Valley Ranch operating budget, key assumptions and summary?
Is this some change, from what you sent out before?
No, hasn't changed, okay? So you can look at your own, but I'm gonna be tabbing through and I'm gonna be highlighting different things. So if you wanna just look at the screen, if it's not big enough, then make it bigger on your screen. Go down there to the right lower corner and just make it bigger. And I can make it bigger as well so that you see it. But again, just make it as big as you need to be able to read and to follow where my cursor is and where I'm jumping around to, okay?
Let me just ask, we're going to start, will all the FAB members look through this already on their own?
Yes.
Okay, so I've got notes as you go through it. I guess everyone can just pipe up if they have questions as it scrolls down.
Okay, and as I go through, the mayor gave me some budget notes as well, so as we go through it, I'll pinpoint some of those things that she had mentioned that we'll talk about tonight in our workshop. So I want to be able to add those as we go, because some things aren't in there yet, but and I'm not going to put them in there until the workshop is done tonight. But anyway, so let's go through this. The structure we're going to walk through is, we're going to go through the revenue section first, just so everybody understands that. But we're going to go through the head count or salary, wages, benefits, that kind of a conversation. And then hit the general fund, water fund, and then talk about capital, okay? And that's in kind of that order. But here I just wanted to highlight some of the key assumptions. And the key assumptions for headcount was headcount remains the same. Yes, we're going to have some changing of people, potentially, right? But again, we're leaving the salaries as they are in there with a 2.5% increase. No, I put a 3% in there. Other inflationary factors were 2.5%, but I put 3% in there for merit. Okay, and Trevor, all of this was a conversation that we had a couple of meetings with Loretta and Trevor. Wages are above the 2026 level, and that's mainly because we had somebody come in and they're in half the year and so it produces a much higher, it has the full year effect in 2027, okay?
I
And
saw it at 6%, so I guess that explains
yes,
it.
and that's why. So if you take out the full year effect, it's down basically at 3.2 or something percent, okay? Benefits, though, are estimated to go up considerably for retirement, and there is an increase in healthcare, okay? Which, if you haven't seen that across America, you'd be, I don't know what bridge you're living under, okay? Capital, key assumptions. We have a tab, and we'll go through that, but there's only one carryover project that we're estimating is going to carry over into the new year or into July, and that's the Prater Canyon delivery line. And so you'll see that. All other projects, Trevor is planning on spending the authorized amounts for chip seal and everything else before we get to the new calendar budget. And we'll go through the general fund and water fund split of projects. There is a priority listing. We haven't taken anything out. We've just identified things that are in there as high priority and then medium, and we haven't included that in the actual spend, pending discussion tonight or here. And those can easily be adjusted and added in, but right now, only the high priority projects are included in the totals. Leases, they'll remain the same as 25-26. Long-term debt, P&I, remains exactly the same, and I've created a chart that we'll look at very briefly at the end, and a hypothetical scenario that says, what if we added a new water tank? What would that do to us? Because if we do, and we can't get grants, guess what? We're gonna have to take out debt. That's just what everybody does, okay? But it'll be replacing existing debt that will extinguish over the course of the next 5 to 7 years. The general fund budget, some items we'll go through that when I get there, and the water fund. So in essence, that's kind of what I wanted to cover. And we'll go through these so that everybody has an opportunity to just raise your hand, interrupt me, and see if you have a question on the area that we're targeting. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is go through the revenue. And if you can see it, hopefully you can. I'll increase it one more size. Okay. For general fund taxes, we are estimating that property taxes are going to go up 7.5%. The first question you're going to say is, well, why? Well, it's because the exemptions expired for everybody. They had to apply for the exemptions. And for those that had multiple homes and cannot get the exemption because it's not a primary residence, they don't get an exemption. So we went down 22%, and I believe it's going to come back up maybe 15%, 16%. Okay? That's the assumption. There's also new homes that we've added on the ranch, and what's the other factor? And market values of stable. I mean, they're not going down. If anything, they've gone up a little bit, but not by much. So those are the assumptions that have gone into property tax. So we're generating $464,000 in the budget. Last year was $430,000, which is a 7.5% increase. Okay? I'm not going to do this with every line. I'm just identifying that that's a big increase, and you wouldn't normally think that. Fifth penny, as you can see over here in column A versus AL versus AM, we're going to have a drop of about 17,000, and that's based on the run rate that we had this year and when it occurred, and then we increased it 2.5%, which is what you're going to see constantly through this is basically a CIP estimate of 2.5% over last year. Motor vehicles, this one we've put in an increase of 5% because we are expecting that when somebody gets their vehicle re-registered, they're going to ask, oh, are you a Star Valley Ranch person? Because a lot of them have been registered with Thane as the zip code, not Star Valley Ranch. So, and we're not identifying a huge amount there, but just enough that we'll see. But and they
one thing you could do there is see how many people get their water bills or whatever sent to the field lots and thing. and contact them, check theirs, charter,
Yeah, but it's not, well, yeah, it could be that.
generally,
Generally,
slack time project, is putting out.
it's a systematic address issue because they've never gone through and tried to get everybody, unless you tell them you're in Star Valley Ranch, it defaulted to Thane for many years. So,
Mine heard the Star Valley Ranch, so they were asking.
yeah. Well, for those, yeah, because if you put it down, yeah. So,
Also, though, isn't it involving the post office boxes? So if your mailing address is a post office box in, like a real post office box
in
in
Thane,
Thane,
then they would.
then there, that's what I thought the notice that came out from the town asked people to do specifically, right? If they had
So,
a PO box in Thane, was defaulting to Thane also, I think. I thought that's what I understood.
true, but it's really for the registrations where we're missing out on those fees, right?
So we'll get the renewal notices to send
Yeah.
the things, so
Yeah.
more than likely that.
I don't know how many people have that. None of us do, but I just,
You can easily pick, easily call
yeah, I put in there an extra $5,000 for the year. So about 5%. The licenses, there's not any here that really are significant enough to highlight. It's just basically taking what we had this year in the month that we had it and increasing it by 2.5%. Not rocket science, it's just saying, let's get the same calendarization we've always had and let's see what it looks like, okay?
I'm putting non-refundable building permits, because I thought the building permit fees pretty much fixed for the fee schedule, so I don't know how you get a 2.5 increase, but I'm not sure what those are.
Where are you?
$101,000 line in the 27 budget.
Oh.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 or 8 lines down. The fourth one under license.
Oh. The building, non-refundable. Yeah, again, there's a reason for that, and that's because there's new building. So, we're gonna have a small amount of increase over last year's permitting. It's inconsequential in the big picture. It'd be like
It's
two
volume
extra,
rather than,
it'd be two extra permits.
volume
9,000.
rather than the CPI rate, okay?
Yes, yep. Okay. The next one is going down through sales and use tax is our biggie. We're going up 2.5% on that. And if the county's right, it'll be better than that, but I'll believe it when I see it.
So did we end up, this is just a CPI number, did we end up getting information from the state or county to get this like we did last year?
On the sales and use tax, they're telling us that the county is saying that we're going to have a windfall in sales and use tax. We're, again, taking a more conservative approach.
Okay.
Chief of Staff sat beside me in the last meeting last year and said we
Yeah.
get 400,000 we weren't accounted for. I don't think I ever saw that, so I'm not sure what he's talking about.
Yeah, so, again,
It's the amount.
maybe there's a timing that they deal with years instead of 1 year. Who knows?
They're trying to tie it to the Atrium and the Kimmer, the nuclear plant. They think there's gonna be a large increase for people coming in, but that's,
Yeah,
a lot of people will be living out of the area too, in Rock
Yeah.
Springs, so.
anyway, we'll see. Again, it's better to go conservative right now until it starts hitting. The one that I wanted to point out was direct distributions. The state passed, this is row 21, the state passed a bill where, and our piece, Star Valley Ranch, was identified for $35,000 increase over last year, so we have built that into this budget. And and I can't remember which fund it came from, but it was one of the,
I was gonna say, where is that one amount at?
it's in the
I'm
district,
sorry.
direct distributions.
Line
this line here.
21.
Oh, okay, but what account does it go into?
Goes into
It's
direct
the same, right?
distribution.
Okay,
It's a line that they always give us money, like a direct distribution to the towns, and that's what we've called it in the accounting.
okay.
That's the name. But,
Okay. Sorry, I thought.
and
that
the
was-
state also calls it direct distributions, and so that's why the bill identified that
I see.
as a nice little windfall. So,
Sorry, I need to interrupt. John just texted me and said that he needs to be let in. He
In the
dropped
meeting?
off. John, yeah, LinkedIn.
oh.
He says,
Move
oops.
on.
He says, oops, somehow I no longer receiving either video or audio. Please ask him to let me join again. don't know if he's in a waiting room somewhere or.
I don't
Oh, yeah,
see
he is up there. You could do it. See on the left side of your screen? I don't know if it's on your screen, but see up there, it says message, waiting rooms, John?
Oh, there he is. Okay. It's not on this one, so let me see
So it's
where it
on,
would be.
it's on the one that's,
Hmm. Participants. Hmm. Show meeting, maybe it's here, maybe it's here, come on, no?
it'd have to be probably the organizer who does it.
Yeah, I think so, because I'm not the.
Yeah, I'm wondering if it's on that, yeah,
okay,
Trevor, I'm
there
wondering
you
if
go.
that's that computer.
Okay, we'll get him on
Okay, I'll
there.
tell him we're working on
Okay.
it.
He'll be here. Okay, all the other ones are just 2.5% over this year. You'll see them all. The next one is interest income. We're going with 3.5%, and because our overall cash reserves are down, balances are down, WIO class, because we've been investing in roads and infrastructure, and on the water side, the same thing. We're just going with lower rates and lower cash balances overall. And then
Next
this,
line,
go ahead.
tax and copy revenue, you're jumping to the next section. Can we just eliminate the $38 line item? If somebody needs a copy, just give it to them free. If they need to back something, do it free.
Well,
A small account.
we didn't-
More work than-
we didn't mark it as free, but we just put in 0 as a budget. So
That's
if,
fine.
if
John.
If there's a main concern with that, then what I'm gonna do is say, Trevor, as town administrator, you have one request to eliminate the copy fees. Because for 38
You can put a
bucks, it
little-
isn't worth it. Charging people.
Sorry, we're 30 copy fees for,
Just
general
on the
fund
fee
rates.
schedule, all the copy fees, do you really charge everybody?
For copies, we do. If they're
If
not,
it's a big one, I get it. They can't come in and say, hey, I want to copy 500 pages, right?
right, but if they're a resident, what is the rule? Usually we do. Are they a resident, do we charge them?
usually we don't charge many people.
I know.
There's none this year so
All
far.
right, and the fee schedule, I was gonna say, if there's copies on there, but if it's like under 5 copies or something, just
Yeah,
donate it.
we should have something in there, just so
Yeah,
people
it's
have
not
to come in and
involved.
want
A lot.
a lot of stuff, which,
You could just deal with it on a.
yeah,
on
the
a-
copy fee isn't the issue, it's the amount of time you put in researching.
Well, yeah,
So-
I guess if you're gonna charge them, you have to have it somewhere, don't you?
The fee schedule can address it, I wouldn't budget.
I mean,
$2.
No, we haven't budgeted anything there, so it's 0. As you can see on this line, there's nothing there, it's 0.
Yep.
Okay, last thing I wanted to mention on revenue for general fund is roads build grant. We have not put anything in there for the grant. If something happens between now and June 26th, 24th, whichever, then we'll change this all up, because that's gonna dictate a lot more spending on the roads, but it'll not have an overall effect on the budget. We'll just, because we do have to spend 20%, and that's kind of what we have in the budget this year, is to spend on the roads 20% of that grant,
Yeah.
this money. So, having said that, that's the total revenue. We're coming in at 2.8 million versus 2.8 million last year, down here, these numbers, which is 1.7% higher, $46,000.
So you're no longer sharing your screen, just so you know.
Oh, come on.
Well, I'm not, the
Yeah.
pictures, I'm looking at my own.
We see
version.
red, but I'm looking at my own too, but yeah, I don't know how you lost it, but,
Well, it must have been when I went out to the view.
oh, when you were looking for,
Yeah, anyway, let's see. Your screen, you are sharing, screen sharing. You guys can't see it? What happened?
oh, maybe you don't have the Excel spreadsheet up anymore.
Well, I didn't switch it off. This isn't me, this is you, I think. You took it over.
There's a ShareWing wait screen on there somewhere, I don't know if it's there.
Share settings, can we do that?
Yeah, click on
No,
it. I'm gonna say stop sharing,
Okay.
and now let me share again. See if it takes it.
We just started screen sharing double.
Okay, there, it's coming.
There
There
you
we go. Okay, sorry. Technology always gets everybody. All right, so general fund, does anybody have any questions over revenue? Okay? Water fund, let's do that now and just cover the revenue sides on both of these, and then we'll get into the salary.
Water expense, water revenue.
Yeah, water. You can see it up here. This is the water fund schedule. One of the things that we are forecasting is again, interest being lower, okay? And due to the reserves being lower. And then we're taking out this, or not taking out. In the past, when a new individual, or when somebody sells their lot, there is usually a residual amount or an amount that's caught up, we'll just call it an escrow, that's eventually passed to the town for transfer property fees. They have now told us they're not going to do that anymore. So we basically will not be able to get all the fees that we had in the past. Now, this is not a big number, and we're forecasting about $1,200, but that's a new account that we're adding into our budget this year.
So it's gonna be a negative, so it's an
It's a
expense?
negative, because
Or
again,
it's-
we've had it built into our miscellaneous, and we're gonna show it as a budgeted line item, and that way we can track it when it occurs, because we have no history.
So who's telling us they're not gonna do this anymore?
The
Title company?
title company.
They're not obligated. When I first came in here, I met with them all because they were gonna drop the stand, but they've all dropped us now. It's just work on their end that they don't see anything for, so.
And it's small dollars, but
Okay,
it's just something we wanted to be able to, and we'll probably, who knows, if we'll use this line in future, we'll just want to see how much we lose.
okay,
How much we're basically writing off each month.
okay.
This is a water transfer fee.
It's the balance that people owe on their water bills when they
Yeah.
sell their property. If they
Oh,
don't pay them,
when they
there's
sell
nothing
it,
we
then
can
they
do about it.
forward it.
Yeah, on that closing document, you'll see those adjustments for those kind of fees. And, it's not a lot of money, but if somebody hasn't paid their $28.50 or their $68.50, we lose those.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, all right.
All right, so miscellaneous revenue is more in line with what it is this year on an actual basis, not compared to the budget of last year. This budget was overstated, so we've pulled it in more in line with what it's actually been this year. On the operating revenue side, this is where, we usually get some interest. On the usage side, we're just increasing usage 2.5%. Now, we're starting off with a very dry environment, so usage could be much more than 2.5%. But right now, this is what we're running it on. Now, these gray lines in here that you can see that I've highlighted, that's how many lots we have by month, and that's how many actual meters we have, or homes with meters. And so you can see, one's going up as one goes down. That's because of the new builds being completed and the transition. So you can see at the end of the year, we're gonna be about 767 of empty lots and about 1,262 homes. Now, the water usage we talked about, the base fee is still $68.50. We have not proposed an increase to that. When we sat down with Trevor and Loretta, all three of us, we did it last year. Let's just leave it alone. However, I'm going to talk about something in just a second. The turn-off fees, we're not increasing. We're leaving that per the fee schedule. So there's no increase or decrease. It's just, this is very much what we had for 2020, this year, the current year.
I'm gonna eliminate that one again as well, so look up the fee schedule. They used to do it for free. But down here, there's all they shut off for free during normal business hours, turn it back on. And that's a small $6,000 thing. As much money as we pull in, we ought to give that back to the residents, in my opinion.
And turn on. Turn off.
Also, don't even turn our water off anymore when we leave, so it's that risk the system presents.
Okay, well, I'm making notes that I will bring up tonight. The system. Okay, the system availability fee for lots is still $28.50. We've left that alone. We haven't proposed any kind of an increase. The tap-ons, we're running with 14 this year. That's what that number there in that cell represents, is that's 14 based on the same kind of timing that we've had this year. And I know there's somebody.
15 last year, and we had 30 something, so Scott estimated 30 something last year, the water getting.
Yeah, and remember last year we had a backlog of houses that were in construction phase. Right now we have a smaller amount because they finished them up and because we've had such a wonderful winter, if you call it that. People have continued to work all winter long. So the backlog is kind of clean, but we're starting to see a lot of permitting activity now coming in. So 14,
What's
15.
Scott's estimate? What's Scott's estimate for homes?
I talked to him this morning. He says, well, we know we've got 2 in so far, and we know like 4 others are coming in. That could double very quickly. So, anyway, 14, whether it's 14, and we'll know more in the next 2 months. So if we needed to change it significantly in the reading 3, we could. Bottom line.
Well, about this last year, and we saw double that, so.
Okay, the one I wanted to bring up is that highlighted yellow line here, which we call the Water Project Reserve. This was requested by the Water Board. They would like to start saving money or increasing the reserve for large capital items that they see way down the line. $2 on every account per month gives you about $50,000. I don't know what the thoughts are from the FAB, but again, if you need the money, I could see it. I'm still questioning the logic of just increasing a reserve because you can and not because you need it.
I am opposed to this. I'm opposed to this one.
Okay.
Me
Especially,
too, and the reason is, remember that chart I showed in January with the revenues that went up every year by $2 or whatever, and then the debt coming down, and you're creating a big old, I thought I had there, I'm not sure.
I can understand what you're
The
saying.
charts for diverging, so you're gonna automatically create a bigger, a larger and larger reserve every year as the debt payment comes down.
Well, yeah, and I'll show you the P&I in just a minute, okay? Keep that thought for
So
just 2
I
minutes.
would like to say, like, to say
Yeah,
that we
just
don't have
a
any.
word on that. I'm still a little bit apprehensive about some of this, and I know you cannot tell, but from what I understood, last year there were lines that went someplace that were not metered, that we don't know how much that is. It looks like the water would just go up this year, the water usage, based on that alone. And we're just kind of guessing on this, it seems to me, because until we know how much is metered in and metered out and charged for, it makes it a little difficult to do any planning. And the second observation that I would like to make is a lot of the money in water fund, there's an amount of money in the water fund that may not be set aside as a reserve, but that's in effect what it amounts to. I went through and figured some possible things, which I'm sure people would object to, and it would not be raising the water bill. Water bills in Star Valley Ranch are much higher than they are in the rest of Wyoming. The state has not, as far as I know, published another study or report that they get from different towns and municipalities around the state. But Star Valley Ranch is much higher. And, I know that they have to pay the debt off, but if you look at the cash that's in the account for water, there is a substantial amount of that arguably could be set aside as a reserve, or at least be aware that it's there. Then you could use 6 months if you want to try to figure out, there's enough cash in there, you could almost assume that even if we didn't collect any water fund revenue this year, there would still be plenty of cash in the cash account to fund the debt and the expenses for water for the year. And that's arguable, I know, but, you know, just an observation.
Here is,
I think people are, you know, the goal is, or I presume the goal is to zero out what people are paying for water, because if you're paying too much, then you're paying for somebody who's in the future, because that's the debt and stuff's gonna be paid off. If you're paying too little, then the people in the future are gonna be paying more. And so there's some real things to consider in all this, okay?
well, Dave, I appreciate your input. Councilman Merrill had some comments.
I just wanted to mention, like, to say that we don't have any water projects, we know that we're gonna have tanks that need to be replaced. Even
Correct.
if you do a decade of, you know, like, they don't have to be replaced for 10 years, which I honestly feel
Yeah.
like that is not true at this point.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah.
the one we just lined, but even that could be in the next 5 to 10. And the other one, we already know it has issues. So I think that we do need to start looking at reserving. I mean, the hope is we can always get some type of grant, but where it's not guaranteed, and we need to make sure we can supply whatever is needed. So I think that needs to be kept in mind when we're saying, oh, we don't need a reserve for something. I think we do for a multi-million
Well,
dollar
I'm gonna address that specifically on a slide that I have here.
Okay.
What I did want to say, Dave was spot on a second ago when he was saying, well, what is, you know, describing our reserves? How much monthly reserves do we have? Down here, based on this budget, and I know it's in green, so it may not show up as good for you guys, but we're gonna generate 164,000 less the 50 if you take the reserve, that fee out. So you're basically gonna still generate $110,000 of excess operating expense, right, in this budget. Now, you say, wow, that's pretty good. But again, you've got projects coming down the line, potentially. What do? Now, here's what I wanted to propose, because I've been thinking about this a lot. So let me go to a new tab here. It's called Long-Term Debt, Principal and Interest. And we're sitting here in 2027, or at least this is the budget. This is the row. And you can see what we are spending in total principal and interest on an annual basis. And the total is $681,000. That's going to be the same number for the next 3 years after, well, next 4, including this next year's budget. And then it starts dropping off. So when you get back down here to, let's say, 2037, you're basically dropping off a cliff. Okay? Because again, it's going to drop from 524 to 441 to 305 to 154, and then it zeroes out in 2045. Now, that's a
Remember that
long...
chart, remember that chart I showed? I'm trying to hold one up because I don't have it on the computer. See how the debt comes down?
Yes, that's what it is. That's the graphical picture.
Meanwhile, there's a line going up that's your water rate, so you're growing the big, larger and larger reserve automatically with the debt return. Now, if you need to add new debt, then that line flattens out a little bit.
And-
You're still growing.
That's
You
what...
have to do the graphs to show it visually.
Right, and that's what this does, is it puts in a new tank for $3 million. So column M on this schedule that I'm showing you, it says basically, oh, for the next 20 years, we're gonna have a new hit of 229,000. Well, for the next few years, right, let's say you do that in 2030, okay? That's what I just stuck it in a year, a new tank. Well, you can see it's significantly above. There's 229, 227, 169. That's the increase over what we're paying today. But then it continues to drop and decline, because you're not going to have to replace the tank but one time in any of our lives sitting here. 50 years is what they say. So again, you do have to replace those tanks, but we just put 26 million into a new system. And yes, we have a little bit more, I mean, the tanks is what the concern is. But and we don't know when that's going to take place, but why would we not go out and get debt like we did on everything else?
grants.
And so the question becomes is what would you need to be able to support your debt, right, in 2030? And that's just an arbitrary date, but that's kind of what I did to try to get an understanding of what's the size of this thing.
So you don't think the rate needs to go up now, but it will go up when we accrue more
When-
debt?
when we know,
But how
yeah.
much then? Because
Yeah.
I'm asking because Jackson just increased theirs 25%. And that is to pay for
But
infrastructure.
we're not, yeah,
It's
we don't want
not
to be
to
Jackson.
cut-
We don't want
it's
Jackson.
not-
We want to be the president.
So what I'm saying is it's not to cut people down on their water usage, which we haven't gotten to that point, but it is to pay for infrastructure. And granted, theirs is probably a lot more money, but ours
generally-
is still a lot of money for our small town.
Yeah, but what we're doing is, if you put in a new tank for 50 years, you hope that you're having people pay for that tank over 50 years. We're not.
Oh, I
Here, we're doing it for 20. I just want to
I
give you
agree.
the, so if you said,
But we're
let's
also
say.
not just buying a tank. Like, we have to maintain the rest of the
True,
system.
True, but that maintaining new pumps, new wells, or those kind of things, we've got to do every year. And that's part of the capital spend that we'll have.
I guess I was also looking at all the other expenses we've had that we weren't expecting as far as like the EPA expenses and all the things that.
On an operating side, yeah.
But
And the
I mean,
operating
that is all
expense,
coming out of water bill, I guess is what I'm saying.
Yep,
So
and
you
we
could say
haven't
where it is
budgeted.
coming from, but it's,
but if we take what we're going to generate in this budget of an excess of $110,000 this year, at least this is what the budget shows, barring any changes that we make, without that $2 reserve, I'm going, okay, well, that $100,000 should go towards the reserve. It should go into the reserve to spend on future. So as long as we're spending less than we're bringing in today, right? I think that's what I'm hearing as a couple of comments. Why would you increase rates for something when you already have excess? What is the appropriate level of access? I don't
And the
know.
excess grow every year with that retirement.
Yeah, again, this is hard because none of us can foresee the future.
My biggest concern about this is all of us are receiving a huge shock. Maybe not all of us, I'll speak for myself. Like, we're receiving a huge shock at the gas pump, so we're receiving,
Yeah.
this week, we're receiving a huge shock at the grocery store. And the gas thing is going to filter down to the gas because you gotta haul it, and I just think in this time is not the time to be adding another expense to our town citizens. That's my thought. I am against this $2 a month thing, and it's just another fee. Like instead of saying, okay, now it's $70.50 a month, we're just gonna slip in this $2, and I'm not into that.
Should
Not
we-
this year.
should we consider then lowering rates by making the unmetered lots again, starting to come up and get closer to the same that we all have to pay for water? I mean,
It's that because those vacant lot owners generally are not in the town, so you're trying to tax them without any representation.
exactly,
lower-
they're not in this
probably.
town, but yet they have the same access as we all do.
Well, they don't, they haven't
No,
tapped
they
in
haven't
yet.
paid $7,200.
You don't have a say, if you had 760 of them, some of them show up for council.
$7,500, let's see what that would be. What's up with
We're
$68?
down at $12. It started out at nothing, and then $12, and then every year.
But they are allowed to, they get the same thing that all the rest of us do. They have access to the water. Now, if they haven't paid for a meter, that's their
So
choice.
that's 109 months at $68.50. The $68.50, the tap-in. So the tap-in, $7,500 would give you 110 months of, that extra income. So you could say, well, for
10
the
years.
first, divide by 12, and that's basically going to be 9 years. So for the first 9 years, they're paying that infrastructure cost with the $7,500. So if I build a house over
That's what I'm
here.
saying, like, the rest of us have already paid in. And granted, when we paid in, like when my house was built or when somebody
Yeah.
else's house was built, maybe they did it
What was it?
15 years ago.
Right,
But
they're
they've
not,
been
yes.
paying that time and they didn't pay them.
Okay.
And so
Yeah, tap
I am
fees,
just saying that
historical
is an
tap fees.
option as well to consider. And I'm not saying like, oh, all of a sudden those rates are gonna go skyrocketing
Yeah.
on those unmetered lots.
For
Like,
those
it
of us
needs
that
to be
have
fair.
multiple lots, one to just save for a view,
Yeah,
I have a hard time paying anything other than, because
I
again, I
understand.
get nothing for it. My entire life, I will get zero for that
Yeah.
amount of money. until.
But you still have value.
If I put a $7,500 tap-in fee, I do have value.
But that's also what I'm saying, like you still have that value, even though you're
Yeah.
choosing not to. And I'm not, you know,
But
I
if
know
you just
other
moved
people-
here, you never really do pay for the infrastructure. You never do.
Yeah, you're still trying to catch up, right? You're not.
If a new person buys an existing home, they never pay what you're describing right now.
No, but they are paying what the rate is for everybody else that lives here.
But they have water. They don't have to pay the $7,500.
But that's what I'm saying.
So for the first 10 years, they should get an exemption, is what I'm saying.
From what?
From the $7,500 that you have to
Oh,
pay
so
to
they
tap
shouldn't
on.
pay for infrastructure.
So,
Like the meter is already there. It was already paid for. That's what I'm saying. Like they're not paying for the new meter.
well, the meter has to be replaced every 10 years.
Exactly. Well, or every 20 if you like look
Yeah.
your house.
But
But
I get your point. I get your point.
I mean, you
Everybody-
could say that. I'm just saying, if you want to lower the rate, honestly, on your lot, somebody may be paying an extra $15. Once it all evens out, it would be about $15 additional, because your rate in your home that you live in would go down. Because they should be balancing. You don't just
Yeah.
make it go up. I'm saying
I've
if you
never
want
seen a
rates.
fee drop.
Why should they be balancing if you're using water or not using water? I think there's a point where you can contribute to the system, but I don't think you should charge everybody close to the same thing. That's where Lloyd's wrong.
Yeah, it's a contentious discussion because again, there's not an easy solution. It isn't, because,
Well, I'm saying your rate would go down on the house you live in, so is an option. Mr. Wilson mentioned, you know, our rates are already high. That is just something that I thought was an option to look at. And I do understand, like, yes, you have an empty lot, you don't want to pay more. But the people that live here and are engaging in using the water, they don't want to pay more either. So it was just an option.
okay. Yeah,
I think there's plenty of growth in the reserves and all that, where we don't really need to start raising rates on people. I'd have to show it with pictures and graphs.
I think,
But we're way ahead of everybody else in what we charge. Tap fees on average in 2022 in Wyoming are $2,250.
Rand,
And
that's
most
why I
counties
said,
10 to 12,
It's an
15, even 30,000 gallons free before they charge, like they in Denver.
so that's why I was saying, if you want to lower your rates, Rand, like they do have to be charging across the board for metered and unmetered. And I do understand if people don't live here and then they just own a lot, it would seem like a lot. But
So-
it would also go up.
so
There are people,
here's the proposal. Let's see, for this year, here's the deal. We don't know what large expenditures, we still don't have a good idea on timing. I want, and I told Trevor this morning, I want to see Ryan in here to be able to tell us, you know, especially with the annexation questions going on, because everybody's concerned about water. Come in and tell us, right? Number one, the annexation, move that to the side. On the budget, when do we need to, in your best estimate, replace that first water tank up there? When? Then we can put it on the calendar, then we can play with numbers and get to a good number.
I think
because
at
I
one
don't know.
point he had said like a decade.
2035.
Yeah.
This is-
Okay,
But
so
unfortunately,
2035.
like 2 years ago, I was also told it would be fine forever type thing. And it was underground and it was very safe. And then I heard that the roof was caving in on, so I don't know.
Well,
So, I mean,
you gotta do with facts. I mean, I've been up there a
but
lot.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I
So,
don't know.
Yeah, I get drama and rumor here every day, but I'll take you up to when you want to see it.
Okay.
So
Won't
here's
be until Monday.
here's a really good, if you use 2035, just for greens, and you were to look at it, our principal and interest is gonna drop down basically $150,000 between now and 2035. That $150,000 then would equal about a 30-year life on a $3 million tank. And that would keep it exactly where it is today. So no increase in principal and interest, no decrease
Yeah.
by that time. And I
existing debt reduction curve would flatten out going forward to cover the tank, you're saying.
and I'm saying, I have a 20-year life in here, but you could put a 30-year
Right.
debt facility in place, and that would equal exactly what we're describing here if I changed it and said in 2035, $3 million tank, done. And it would keep it exactly where we are today. So I like that until we know more. Because I'm the first person that says, I don't want to run into a cash crunch or cash flow issue. I'm very conservative that way, but I don't have that missing piece. I don't know when it's gonna come, a new tank.
You should take the 50/50. It could be better, it could be worse, it could be sooner, it could be later. And if that's 2035, then that's what you should do.
I'm gonna put a little highlight here because
30
this
years,
is,
whatever, if you buy a tank that out of the last 50 years, you probably should.
Yeah.
Then you probably get a loan for 30,
And this one's.
but so that's what it is.
So,
well, let me put in 30 years and see what happens here.
I don't want to penalize residents now.
That's what I
Some
figured.
too.
Okay, so let's put a pin in it. Again, we don't have that information. On the 14th, I'm gonna, or whatever date it is that Ryan's coming in for the annex, I'm gonna ask him that question, just so we have better information. Just, you're the expert, tell me how long this is gonna, when do we have a problem? And I wanna hear it from him. So, again, I'm not worried about the rest of the water fund because they're generating this number right up here, 160, well, if I took out the $2, let me do that right now, just so you can see it. $2, take that down to zero. Here's the excess that they're gonna generate for next year, 116,000. There's always gonna be pluses and minuses, there's gonna be surprises, there's gonna be savings, but this is what we would forecast as 116,000 favorable. And that to me says, why raise rates today? Just logically. If it was
And for the years, it
zero,
looks like you're running short and things look worse, then you're adding a couple dollars on the rate or something.
okay. I hope that makes sense to everybody. We need to keep rolling. But that's the revenue for water fund and then the idea on rates. Let's get into salary just for a minute, just so everybody can see. We do have all the salaries laid out. There was we're obviously, Zach is in here, and we need to figure out, we've got to replace him. So what I wanted to do though is, here's the allocations between different groups. Admin, water, safety, building, executive, the judge is all general fund, and operations. So you can kind of see what that 1.2 million of total salary is split by the individual departments. Okay, and some of them are executive is small, judge is small, but you can see where the bulk of it is. It's in admin and the water, and then operations. So, which is roads.
I have a question about safety. Last year, I thought we had a part-time SMO, and is that not in the budget this year?
We didn't even budget for that last year. I was just able to make it work. We didn't put anything in here. The person we use is taking another job in another state, so he's not available.
So we didn't put it in.
Yeah.
So
It's harder to find the right guy for that job, and I've got some possibilities, but it's not progressing well. The
But-
job's not that much fun.
So right now, we're kind of using the existing budget that we have for this year, and just kind of rolling.
Yeah, but I do have a plan for other employees to address some safety stuff that I'm moving forward with.
So Zach is his last name Edward? Sorry, I'm still
Yeah.
learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so
This
is he
is Zach.
retiring or is he leaving?
He's moving to Georgia.
We're still working through that.
Okay.
We thought he would be gone about the second week of February, and after discussing with him this morning, I'm not sure how long, he might hang on a little longer, but I started advertising yesterday because, Monday he said, no way, I'm not gonna work it out, I wanna be here for a few more weeks, and then we had a conversation this morning that.
So maybe
potentially-
February of next year or February, like he
We
should
thought he
be?
would have been gone a month ago.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not pay him enough, because I thought we should retain him whatever it took.
Well, it's more complicated than that. I mean, he has an aging mother,
Yeah.
so we all have to deal with those things. And yeah, sometimes you can make something work, but
And so what's the $10,000 at the bottom of that then?
that is what did I?
So what we're looking at here is if Zach leaving, what I'm finding is I found some very qualified people that make substantially more money than this job.
That's the adder.
So it's potentially either that, or I'm thinking of a reorganization at Public Works, because the admin job is about 70% the director job. Where Zach's been mapping out roads and putting in GPS coordinates for the grant and mapping out what roads in what order. It's not a field job. So I may need some of that money to create like a field supervisor position or something like that. And I haven't quite worked through the details on what's.
So that pro stood for promotion.
Yeah.
It's a promotional piece
Okay.
in conjunction with the new hire, so that you don't have to pay 100,000, you might, but there's a net 10,000 in there for that. Now, all of that being said, the department's admin, we've got everybody in at 3%. There's also 3 people that could get their certification in the water group,
Which one
and
did
that's,
they?
okay, and so that's $1 increase per hour for those 3. But otherwise, it's 3%. The executives don't have any, judge doesn't have any increase. And so
How do we allocate the merit funds? Is it on performance, or?
Yes.
Some people get, outstanding get 8, 6, or 7, 8, and 4s get 1 or none? Or how do we do that?
Yeah, it's based on performance, but there's not a ton to work with there. I mean, it's.
Plus the retention issues, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's not a flat 3% for everybody, is it? It's not.
No, it's just budgeted 3%. So you can choose how to use the money.
Yeah.
It's flexible how you allocate it then, correct? The dollars?
Mhm. Yep. All right, so what I wanted to show you was how you get to fringes and benefits. It's on that same tab called Headcount, Wages, and Benefits, and we're using the percentages. There were 2 significant increases. That was in retirement, as well as some of the healthcare costs have gone up year over year. And what we didn't do last year was we didn't put the extra, because we're paid bi-weekly, not 2 times a month. And so the 2 months, August and February, have an extra payment in it. February just bothers me because it's such a short month. But, and we're doing well on our salaries this year. We're actually, if you took out that extra payment, we're below where we're budgeted, but we didn't budget it this way. However, this year we are. We're gonna get the timing right on it. But you can see all the expenses of what's incurred with that $1.2 million of salary.
So I have a question about the percentages used for dental and health and dental insurance.
Yeah.
I unhid those columns, so it's in column R. Like for admin, the percent is 19.6, but for, what's PS?
Public safety.
Public safety, it's 11.5, and then it jumps up to 22 for operations.
I think those
Why
are
aren't those
actual,
consistent?
aren't those actual costs?
It's how people are allocated. Because some of the guys are operations and water.
No, but how do you allocate, let's say a bill comes in from, who's our
Blue
carrier?
Cross Blue Shield.
Blue Cross Blue Shield, do you allocate the exact cost to, for instance,
To the department, like I'm split between.
to public safety?
admin
So
and
it's
water.
actually the cost of, for instance,
Like
Jim
is
sticks out like a sore
Jim's
thumb.
100%
Jim.
safety. I'm a 80-20 split.
So
He's an
it's
80-20
broken
split.
between two.
and because if you have a spouse that's on the plan, that's gonna have a higher cost.
It should
Per
be on the
dollar?
town side though, the employee's contribution is different if it's a family versus an individual.
And so, but does the town cover your family?
If you opt for that, but you pay more into the system. So you can do yourself plus one,
Yeah,
or a family plan.
right.
So you're paying more, I'm paying more because I'm on the family. plan.
But it could be not perfectly prorated.
Okay, so is it also then age-based?
No,
It's not age-based. So you and I, covering a family, would pay the same rate?
Yes.
yep. It's yourself, a plus one, or a family. If you have 3, you're on the family plan.
Right.
So it has nothing to do with age or anything else.
But the town covers the full amount for each of those, right? For all those plans?
For age?
No, for each of those plans.
Oh, the employee contributes. It's-
Okay.
Yeah, there's an
On
employee
the-
contribution.
I guess I don't understand the wild swings. I'm
Would
still
a
not, I'm
single
still not
paid-
understanding that, those wild swings
Yeah, it's not making-
between, I mean, I would think they would all be 20% or 15.5%. I guess I'm not understanding why public safety is down at 11 and building is at 11, but ops is at 22.
Is it what they're putting in for like?
Yeah, do you know how it's, maybe we could look at the allocation. If you get the Blue Cross Blue Shield, does it come in by department, meaning you see the departments?
Comes in by person.
You split it, okay. Now, maybe we could look
Although
at the
the building,
spreadsheet. I'm with you. If it's really, truly, if there's no difference in adding somebody, a spouse, because it's still cost per dollar is the same,
Right?
it would be the same percent.
And I don't know how you do it. Like, I guess I would say, well, I'm used to it. Everybody I know is age-based, so that's skewing my
Yeah,
thoughts a
that's-
little bit,
It's a
but
killer.
I can't, it's really weird to me that it wouldn't be age-based.
So this is what the state offers if you're a municipality, and you can elect to do your own insurance, but.
Oh, so
by
this is the one for the
states,
state.
It's just per employee, they don't look at anything else.
So if I'm covering just myself and you're covering a family,
But wait
is
a
the
minute.
amount do I get any taken out of my paycheck?
Yeah, you have $30 probably, somewhere.
But the
30.
point is,
I think
if your
it's
salary
86.
though, Julie, here's the answer. If your salary's here and not here, like a water guy, the cost on a water guy making half of what you would be making, it's gonna be a higher percent. That's why the
Okay.
averages are all over the place.
Okay, and I guess
That's
that's
it.
why the age-based, I guess, probably
Yep,
Because
Yep.
the salaries are higher. than the-
flattens that out.
yep, salaries, it's salary based, not, I mean, from the standpoint of trying to get the percentage.
Okay,
Yeah, that's what it is.
No.
Okay.
okay.
Salaries are cost.
Not a family or you're single.
But anyway,
Employee.
I love thank you for unhiding the column. I'm proud of people that actually look at it and you know, come up with questions. But anyway, it's all there, and when you look at the total cost of people, right, you add all that up, and we got $1.8 million just related to people. And the overtime of 3.96% is basically the same as this year. We didn't increase it, we didn't decrease it, it's just occurring in the same period by departments as it did this year.
Our total equivalent headcount in the budget, with overtime equivalents,
Yes, overtime.
what is it? How many heads, equivalent headcount?
Well, it's less than one.
In total,
Yeah, $47,000. So that's,
total equivalent count, so what are the full-time employees plus the overtime equivalents, what is that number of people, employees we have?
again, you have an average salary. You
I'm not
can't,
getting into dollars, I'm
Yeah.
talking about physical people.
well, you can't include everybody, right, on this list.
You can't include, I
With the
would,
list of all the names, is
You
that all
can't
employees?
include the judge, you can't include,
Oh, yeah, the town council,
yeah, so you can't really do that.
so I've excluded everybody but, I've excluded the town council and the judge.
15 people,
And I've got an average here of 70,935.
okay. And the average American makes $67,920 a year per Nate Bargatze's new game show. If you haven't seen it, I'd recommend it. $67,920. So, and here, that doesn't go as far as it does in the States. But again,
15 full-time equivalents.
that's how it's built, and I'm glad we're having these discussions because we didn't really have a chance last year to even have any of these dialogues. But again, we're using what we've done before and kind of carrying it forward. We're not going to increase headcount. We're not doing those kind of things. It's across each department the way it's defined here. Okay, so having said that, any questions to this point in time that we haven't addressed on the things that we've covered? What time have we got? 4 o'clock. Okay, we're going to start to roll. because I'm not gonna go through every line item of the budget. I'm just gonna, again, point out some of these line items that change for you guys to think about, okay? In admin under general fund, we are gonna pull down travel and training to a more reasonable number than what we had in the budget, and it's based on what we've spent this year. And so, again, we just had a little too much in the budget. And we're trying to identify those things where we over budgeted and under budgeted and fix it, okay? Anything in yellow, those are the ones that we've kind of changed, hands-on. Let me see. Oh, there's one down here in town image. We wanted to increase a little bit of money to improve our Christmas decorations. You know, about $4,000.
What line are you on, sorry?
Right here, number 72.
Okay,
72 a general fund.
okay.
317. How about travel and tourism?
Well, it'd be a hard decision to put it into Christmas decorations maybe, but it could always be asked of the travel and tourism group if beautifying your town during Christmas qualifies. And so I will make that note since I'm meeting with travel and tourism tomorrow, okay?
What are you asking?
If we spent some of our $20,000 a year that we get revenues for travel and tourism, can we spend that?
Oh, okay, got it. They have a meeting tomorrow.
Yeah.
Look at it.
Yeah. TNT, I'll ask that question,
How much revenue they have and what kind of ideas they have.
about,
Maybe they want to do a couple thousand for holidays and course.
okay? Because every once in a while, you're just gonna have to, you know, maintain a good selection of Christmas decorations, and we've had the same ones now for every year I've been here. And that's been 13 years now, so.
You go to the house in July.
Anyway, so we'll find out about that. Next one, consulting, engineering, those, that very little change, but I did make a little bit of, to make it nice and clean across the year, in the months where we'd probably spend it. And then the audit fee did go up this year, and so we've made that adjustment into the budget as well, okay?
So not be a campus.
Well, it's just up $700. In this, remember there's two pieces. There's the water fund and there's the general fund, and they split those costs on a different percentage basis. But overall, admin in general fund is going up $64,000, and almost all of that is headcount and allocation related, because we're putting more into roads than we put into water last year, okay? And that's fundamentally what's driven the admin piece. Public safety, as you can see, we had a big budget in there for health and health benefits. Now we're on a more equal footing on an average per month, and that's the more right number. Sheriff's Department, let's get into these big ticket items. Sheriff, we were charged more than what we had budgeted. We're budgeting 2 months where we pay $70,000 each, which is an increase of $6,600 above, gives you about a 7.7% increase above our budget, okay? So,
So we reach out to them and say, what are you charging us for that? How does that get established?
The sheriff already wants to renegotiate this for a higher number, so we don't have a lot of leverage here as a town unless he starts hearing from citizens.
How would
tell us what-
how would that take place? How does that look like? What does that look like?
He's an elected official, you can contact him, email, letter, voicemail. I mean, the more questions that get asked from the community, the better that is. But,
He wants to
The-
increase, you said?
you know,
oh yeah.
What did you say?
So has he brought anything like as far as numbers? I was asking.
No, he requested a meeting probably a month and a half ago. I just haven't had time to meet with him. But I think the problem is at the county level. The sheriff's office took on a whole wing of their new jail when they built it, and they house inmates from the state, and they get $360 a day, and 100% of that money at the time, I don't know what it is now, but it was just going to the general fund for the county. And then we should have stayed in the sheriff's office, because they had to hire and train more employees, and it's a bigger deal. So I think that's where the major problem is, but that's just my personal opinion.
So going to the question of negotiating the contract with the sheriff, he's gonna sit down with you and the mayor, most
Yeah,
likely.
like you said, if he never goes down, it'll only go up, and that's.
I get it.
the thing.
Well,
But,
we can say, please don't go up more than the CPI, and you have to be able to manage it within that, and see what they say.
yeah, so we'll have that conversation, but I just did not have the time to do that.
Okay, well, again, we've got a little increase in there of $6,600, but it's significant when you look at it versus inflation, right? So, I would love for him to tell us how he's increasing his presence on the ranch as the third largest town in the county, right? Versus prior years.
Sure.
And that's just the general, tell me, support it.
Yeah, what do we
You
get
can't
out
come
of
in
this?
with a number without supporting it. So,
So fine, don't tell us what it is.
yep,
So at $140,000, the starting deputy salary at the high end is $61,500.
that's
Fully
20
loaded, we're looking at really generously 1.5
Yeah.
fully loaded salaries.
Okay, so what you don't understand though is the cost of training, insurance, and all that stuff that goes, if you're talking about having our own law enforcement agency.
I'm not necessarily talking about having our own, I'm saying
And
we're
you're
paying
saying
for
we're
1.5
paying for-
employees.
Okay.
But I don't think we're getting 60 hours on this ranch.
So.
And I'm out to prove it, and I'm going to get to it. I just can't, I, like you, don't have time, but I don't think we're getting what we're paying for, and I've said that for a year now.
And that's why I think he needs to come in and say,
So that-
support it.
So I will
Sheriff,
tell you,
support your numbers.
most people look at this as a
Percentage of the
traffic.
person, what percentage of the car, what percentage of
Yeah, well,
Yeah, if you look at the bigger crimes and calls for service, you don't see them here working on that, but you do have a murder case going forward, and that has consumed a copious amount of their time
Manpower.
and effort there. So we just need to be careful with that, because they do have the numbers this year to back that up, because of big crimes, domestic violence, things like that go on for weeks, sometimes months.
Right.
yeah.
But you're talking about the murder that happened at the end of 24, right? 23,
So
20.
I don't remember, it's been less than a year, but
The one down the street from me?
yeah.
That happened in November of 23.
Okay. 24.
24 maybe, but yes,
So,
maybe
24.
24.
That
Well-
case though, investigation keeps going, all the evidence is in
They
the
have to
crime lab
continue to put
process.
time into it. Yeah, probably.
Yeah, so
Anyway,
just,
again, just have him explain, and, yeah, you can refute it if you
If
want.
he has a number, he had to have math to come up with
Okay.
it, so I'll do this math.
We'll take a look at it.
I think his math is really tolerant.
Well, I don't even think we put in here his number, we pulled it down. If I remember our conversation, didn't we?
yeah,
Did he come in like 150 or something? I can't
I don't
remember.
remember.
Okay, don't worry about it, we'll get there. The next one is, since we have Councilman Merrill here, she had proposed that we support Lucky's Place to the tune of 15,000. So I wanted her to give, just, if you would just give us kind of a,
Well, I volunteer there sometimes, but I know that usually when they get an animal in, it's $500 first day, because they have to have it checked out, have the employees doing it, and take it usually to the vet. Make sure all the shots are up to date and everything before they are then able to put it, out there to foster or adopt. And then daily, then they have to make sure they're also taking care of all of those animals. So part of our safety officer, if he has a random dog, or a cat, he takes it to Lucky's. And the expectation is that they are supposed to just take it in. We did have a contract, I believe it was for $1,800 a year at one point, and we hadn't paid on that for a while due to paperwork issues, I think, that had fallen through. But go ahead.
do they get most of their funding from the Humane Society? The Humane Society? Is that where they get most of their funding?
Basically, the Humane Society.
Yeah, I think it's
So-
public-private funding, I think.
Yeah, it's all
Is it all private?
except for, they do get a small amount from the county, which is smaller than what we've been given. And they are you know, trying to advocate and go to other towns this year because they have
Okay.
new management, and so they're trying to get funds, but yeah.
Is it the
it's
only
basically all
town in
private.
Star Valley? Meaning Afton
Um,
doesn't have
No, that's the only
and
one.
Alpine doesn't have one either.
It's the only one here in the valley. I know Jackson has
Wow.
one
Okay.
as well, but, and they do like share back and forth with other, like the ones in, even in Idaho, like they try to keep the animals kind of moving so that, not always, like not all animals, but most of the dogs and such, if they have some from another humane society, that they need to kind of switch off so that hopefully they can be picked up, like adopted or fostered out.
Well,
So
We have to have a pound somewhere.
I
Yeah.
don't think that people are aware of
It's a-
how,
it's a-
of the need of it. That was a number that I put forth because I know some of the other towns were discussing. But, you know, at some point they have to start contributing because that place can't run itself any
Do you know
longer.
how much anybody else contributes, Thane or Afton?
No, I don't know how much they're putting forth right now.
Do you
I know
ever
they were
talk to
gonna
them,
request.
their administrators, or?
Not very often, no.
I'm just curious if, again, between Afton, Alpine, you know.
I can ask
Thane,
Alpine too really quick, I don't mind.
It'd be
Well,
interesting.
Send them a message.
I mean, I'm not opposed to giving them support, but I don't want to do more than we,
No, and I agree. Yeah, like it
About-
it has
Here's
to
a,
be.
here's a thought, here's a thought. How about we take the dog license fees, or animal license fees, and contribute that to them?
So
Yeah.
it can't just cross directly. I know we can't just say, oh, we're just gonna send them over there, but we could see how much that amount is, I guess. I don't, as an idea. But the,
I think it's only like $10 or something to register your dog, and the late fee. I don't know the dog, so
yeah, we don't even separate that, do we? We
you
just
can
lump
bump it
in.
up a little bit and just say, we're gonna pass on, like, support Lucky's place, that's where your dog may end up if you don't control it.
Well,
Pay for it twice.
if we were paying before $1,800 a year, but we stopped doing that, not sure when.
I think it was a paperwork thing, and I'm not sure when exactly either. I mean, I don't even recall seeing it budgeted before, so I don't know how
Well,
long.
if you, yeah.
I think it's just more that we are using their services, so even that we need to cover. And then I guess it's kind of like the idea of the sheriff's office too, like we don't want to take in dogs ourselves.
Yeah.
So we do at some point have to pay for it, so.
Okay,
I will say that we made an agreement with Lucky's, we let them rehab their problem, their dogs are not social with other dogs or people here at our dog park. I didn't figure a number on what that's like, but we do try to support them in other ways. $15,000 is a big jump though.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm more thinking a couple pounds or something, whatever, I don't know how many dogs we have and how many licenses we should, but there's 1,000 dogs, that's $10,000.
Yeah, it's definitely not 1,000.
Hope we don't have 1,000 dogs. Man, well,
Yeah,
it's only
yeah,
one every other house.
I'd be really careful about that, because if you come to Plat 5, there's multiple per house.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I've got 4 that live next door to me, so 2 that
Oh,
live
you got
across the
200
street.
out,
So
let's
maybe,
see.
maybe that's what you promote, is get your dogs, licensed, or, and then we'll use those fees to give the Lucky.
Their total revenue in 2025 is 109,000.
109. Wow. See, I think Afton needs, yeah. Anyway, okay. Thank you. We'll have that, I'm gonna leave it just the way it is, and we'll have that conversation with the council tonight.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of hot.
The next one is Star Valley Health Ambulance. This is a hot button. I increased it. You can blame me, because again, I think they need to renegotiate contracts with Alpine and Thane. We don't need to have a mill levy. That's not the approach, and the state is holding on to those hostage, those dollars. They put it all in escrow that was due, that came from the big beautiful bill to fund rural
It's
EMS.
intended as fiscal ambulance, and it needs to be designated as essential service, they need to serve those routes.
But again,
How come we're paying and not paying or not, when they get the fast service, we get the slow service?
well, that's gonna be our response to Star Valley Health, is you need to sign, or you need to get new contracts in place with Thane and Alpine. And then come back to us and talk to us, and we'll have a conversation.
Yeah, there's been significant mismanagement of funds.
Yes.
And the
Yeah.
hospital's trying to push that out on the municipalities.
And it's bad.
So,
We need to pursue with the legislature to get some of this, so we're not holding back all the money.
Which
because I
way?
thought it was at 33.
It is, and now I've increased it on line 60, or 103 to 49,500.
So our.
No,
Just show them in any kind of a public meeting, or they'll see that number, and go, oh, they're only gonna pay 49
You
bucks.
increased it?
Yes,
Turn
from
that
33
down
to
a little bit, I can't
49,500.
hear you.
Put it in until the last minute. if you
So-
have to.
So that
Keep
little,
showing, we have a budget of 33.
No, it was-
Keep it down.
it was 33, see over here in this budget for last year, the 33? That's budget 2026. This year for 2027 is 49,500.
So you didn't increase it?
I did increase it by 16,000.
Why?
So I'd take that out so the public never sees that, and just leave it at 33 and tell them, hey, the budget is the same as last year. But we ought to not be paying for it, because we get the worst service.
Again, we could put it in at 33,000, but the problem is you're fighting against a mill levy, and that is going to be, everybody is gonna pay $200 or $400,000 from a mill levy.
Maybe it was
400,000
supervisor came
versus
2 years
50.
ago and
So
talked for half an hour in the council.
But I could-
Down,
I
but
could-
you haven't, like,
I could reduce it, hold on, Rand, I
Thank
could
you.
reduce it down to 33 for this conversation.
well, no.
I just
our
wanted to
contract
highlight
is-
it.
Oh, no, and I agree with you as far as the mill levy. I
Yes.
think my concern is, so, yeah, no other town has paid for anything.
That's right,
We've
that's right.
already paid taxes
Yeah,
and
they-
now we're paying the contract.
They contributed equipment which was probably inflated in what was actually.
Oh, highly inflated to the
Okay.
point where, but let's say they're just.
Even if we
running
can
it that
give
way.
people shares, we're not getting the fast service like they did.
So even though they're justifying it that way, I think my concern is, like, I don't even know that we should be having a contract when we're already paying taxes.
I know,
So I feel like,
the way this is set up, it should have never happened this.
no, I agree. And so I'm just a little concerned even putting that number in
Okay,
there.
I appreciate it. I've
Yeah.
reduced it down to 33 with a gold star around it
Okay.
saying, let's have the conversation with
Okay.
the council and say, we don't know what's going on here, but this is a bigger issue than
Yeah.
just our current
And so
contract.
are you thinking that if we, as a, not just our municipality, but other towns, go forward and build a contract with them, that they won't want their money?
And here,
I love
the
that
thing is
idea.
though, the mill levy will never pass. It's just not going to. I've talked to so many people from Freedom to Etna to Alpine. I talked to all, and in the Republican Lincoln County Convention that was held in Thane, they asked me to be a delegate down there. They actually passed a resolution to increase, guess what? Sin tax for the EMS. Now, not that Lincoln County makes the state do whatever, but again, there's other options rather than a mill levy on your ballot.
For sure.
So,
That's why I'm just questioning us and
Yeah.
having a contract with
okay,
them.
let's
because-
leave it
Yeah,
alone.
okay.
And again.
I know our contract is up, so we do have to do something, but
Well,
I really want to see what they're going to do moving forward. Because
Okay.
even though we've been the only
Yeah.
one contributing financially, they were happy to put their new EMS and
Yeah.
everything towards Thane instead of looking this way. Now, I know they have that on hold right now, but they still have
yes,
discussed
well,
doing
it's
that.
still, I go back to the whole mismanagement.
Oh, it's,
It's horrible.
yeah.
So,
I-
why are we bailing out mismanagement? We should be. So, okay, let's leave that
We
one.
should be pursuing what the Senate and the legislature passed nationally, to support rural, and
Right.
ambulance is mentioned. I encourage everybody to read that legislation, that section.
We need to have a
There's
conversation
a
with
lot of, it's
our
more ambulance service, so.
With our,
Wow, our citizens.
Doc Statter. Why? Anyway, okay, let's keep going. Mid-Valley Fire, I have forecast, or we forecasted a drop of about $20,000 because if it's a year in arrears that they're getting the mills, we reduced our property tax this year, there should be less payment next year. Because this year, it actually went up, which was kind of tied to the year before. So I think there's a year, there's a year gap, a year delay between when they actually get paid from what they brought in for property tax. And since property taxes went down in 2026 we're estimating that this is gonna go down as well.
Well, and I think as a town council, we need to discuss it as well, just depending on what the contracts are with the other,
Yeah, that's fine.
like
Yep.
with Thane and
Yeah,
everything.
and I don't know what they are.
Yeah. Well, they're
I
not.
barely looked at ours. So it's, but
The
again,
contract was put in place before the property taxes doubled, so they had a windfall.
I
essentially,
know,
from what they-
yep, they did. They did, big windfall, because nobody anticipated those increases. Okay, let's get, so public safety basically stayed flat with the reduction in the $33,000 of, back down to the 33. Town operations, there's a whole bunch of changes in here, year over year. Most of this is going to be tied to road maintenance, which is whether it's dust guard, road base, sand, cold patch, equipment, all the tools needed. And this is where, you know, there's multiple line items, but that's bottom line, kind of what we're focusing in here is an increase in this budget of about $80,000 for roads, and not capital. This is just
Maintenance.
maintenance. It's just regular maintenance. And I think it's the right message. It's 7.7% increase year over year.
People want that.
Well, it comes with a cost, and here's the cost. So if somebody doesn't want it, then they can, you know, have another conversation. There's one in here, we didn't increase the lease of equipment at all, because those are fixed leases. So, but anyway, I just wanted to walk through that. If there's any specific items, we can have, oh, there's another one, roadside maintenance. So there's, we have like 8 line items that all tie into road maintenance. Okay, let's move on. On the attorney side, that's, we're going with what we spent this year and just kind of using a 2.5% inflationary factor and using it in the same periods where we've had it before. Okay? No surprise there. I don't expect us to be spending more money. And this has nothing to do with annexation, because if annexation were to occur, then we'll be repaid those fees. Okay? That are incurred there. So again, it's a net sum zero on the annexation. This is just regular bills that we get from the attorney. Municipal court, we signed a new contract on the municipal court. We didn't make that change in the budget last year. These new numbers are accurate. We're gonna spend about $4,500 versus our last year's budget, so it's down considerably. Building and planning, they're basically up the 2.5%, basically. So, I'm pretty sure, what is it?
I see 5. Is there
5%, yeah, it's hidden by my thing over here, but 5%, probably due to the, well, wages went up 3%, overtime, healthcare and
Legal
retirement.
expense was the,
Yeah. That one is legal expense, oh, yeah. You never know when you're gonna get a surprise. And we had one in December, wasn't it? December.
Yes.
That was the Cup residence, yeah. So we had to spend money there. So basically, it's repeating what we did this year, next year. And, you know, if we don't need it, wonderful, we're all fat, dumb, and happy. But we just, yeah, that's just more of a, where did we spend it this year? Executives last year, we didn't account for 2 meetings a month for the council. We had only put in there 1 meeting and then periodically a second meeting. So I've bumped that up to what we really spent this year. There's no salary increases or anything, it's just the number of meetings that publicly we hold.
Yeah, no, we're not.
Yep, and on travel and tourism, it's a $25,000 budget. That's, I can't remember what they're bringing in this year, what's our forecast?
Here's some 250 stuff or something, about 5,000.
They're bringing in $25,000, so it's just basically showing that they're gonna spend it. They really don't know how they're gonna spend it in detail yet, but we're gonna find out more tomorrow in the first, or my first time to be able to attend. And then last but not least, Parks and Recreation, same thing, we got a bunch of requests from them for trails and for The Natural Resource Board, I mean, they want to spend the money they get from the garage sale in and above what we generally budget. So, and the garage sale has generally been bringing in about $10,000 a year. So, and we've usually budgeted about 8 or 9. So,
Mostly volunteer labor, so it's.
Yep, but it's a big increase, but again, they're the ones that are bringing in the cash and spending it. So, I don't have a problem with that. So overall, general funds, expenses are 2.4. We are forecasting a $456,000 surplus, before CapEx. So that's kind of the idea, okay? Any questions there? Okay, I know we're all getting tired. Loretta says, okay, it's almost 90 minutes. All right, on the water fund side, we did the revenue. On the administration side, we're leaving it basically flat. There's been an allocation change, not an allocation, what was it? It was a,
Percentage. We don't have water projects, we put more on the
Yeah.
riverside than.
but that's, yeah, would that be in the admin piece? Yeah, it would.
I think it is, isn't it? Maybe I'm off there.
I can't remember. I can't remember. Anyway, I'm looking at the major items, and you got $5,000 in travel and training that we're doing less of. You got $7,000 in consulting fees engineering, because we spent a lot of money on consulting fees to do the green tank cleaning. And anyway, I have my own feelings about that. And then the town attorney is down as well. So that's really why it's basically staying flat. On the water service contract side, 32,000 versus 24. The increase is $25,000 for the SCADA contract. That is an annual license fee. And so we are going to see that hit each and every year. But according to what I am hearing, Trevor, it's going to be well worth it.
Yeah, it's better for security, cybersecurity, everything increased with this, so it's.
And we're paying basically $1,000 more than we're paying now, because we get rid of the Wetco cost and we're adding in SCADA. So the difference is $11,000.
So what is this, insurance or is it
No,
security?
It's
it's the software.
yeah, we upgraded our software, which was, now it's all cloud-based. For my house, I can get in and deal with the problem instead of having to come here and be the water bay. It's increased everything.
Visibility
Yeah.
and reporting.
Is that also,
That's the improvement.
but that's nothing to do with the billing system then?
No, they're a separate issue.
Yeah, that's Cassell.
The system monitoring.
Yeah, so, but again, you can go down there and you can monitor all your flow meters and everything. So, it's a step in the right direction. On the administration operations side, again, we have several items. We don't expect, but we could have a mid-size excavator lease cost if we had what we had last year. So I put one in, it's $10,000. We'll see. Because there's just some spots on the town that we just can't get to with the mini excavator.
And what line item are we looking at?
I am looking at lease costs on line 66.
Okay, thank you.
That's a $12,000 reduction from what we spent, or what we had in the budget. But that's not, we weren't spending all of that budget this year, so we pulled it down. Okay, the line is 66.
I've got 70. I don't know.
Which
how
tab?
that's
Which
taken.
sheet?
I'm like,
Water fund, where have you been?
Water fund, ours is line 7. I've got line
it's 70, okay,
Yeah.
thank you. I was like, mine is
70?
not
Yeah,
showing
I don't
that.
know how we got off, but yeah, mine's 70.
Yeah,
9924.
Oh, yes, because I made it, I shrunk some line, I got rid of some zero lines.
Oh.
Okay, on this version, because there's no reason to show them if they're zero. Okay, yep, sorry, yeah, yours is gonna be a little different on the water side. And down here, just so you can see, EPA testing, we put $6,000 in on line, well, I can't tell you, it's the next yellow line. And the you know, where the headings are. That's gonna be a new account that we set up so that we can clearly see what EP is, because right now it's built into our water supplies.
So the,
Line.
the line right above that, water
Yes.
parts, why is that decreasing 50%?
Because that's where some of these things like EPA testing
Just
was.
came.
And they also had the old meters, and now we're getting all new meters, so guess
Okay.
what? There's no replacing those old meters
Okay.
through other old meters. Now we're all gonna have new ones. And the shop supplies, 18,000, that is an input based on what they've spent this year. And we're just saying it's gonna be $1,500 a month. Otherwise, the next one, lab analysis.
Wait, can we go back to water supplies for a second?
Yes, yes.
The estimate for this year is $48,000.
Or are you thinking,
It says water, shop supplies, water. You're saying that estimate is coming out to 48,000. But you're budgeting
yes, because,
18 for this year?
again, there's a lot of fees in there that should have been capital. And they didn't spend them in capital we're now going with meters.
Right.
And meters are a capital project of, you know,
Yes.
the total amount of 500,000.
Okay.
Here, we were buying them as we go,
Okay,
and that's why those are disappearing,
okay.
okay?
That's what I'm saying.
But there's two line items that really are about the same, shop supplies, water, and water supplies, parts.
Okay.
What's the
I wonder what the two differences were.
Yeah.
They kind of offset it.
Yep, but again, so some of it's going into capital, basically, with the residential meters. But needless to say, the admin ops, was that, up 3%. So, you know, slightly increased, and that's mostly, we expect more EPA testing and more lab services than what we've had before, just to try to get a handle on that. On the salary side, because of allocations, it's dropping down on, I can't tell you which row it is, but wages, total wages and payroll, we're dropping down from 642 to 539 or 540 because of the allocation of people to roads instead of water, generally speaking. And then the total principal and interest is exactly the same. So total expenses, we're forecasting again to be down 88,000 from last year's budget. That's all tied to the head count. Basically, net, everything, the largest line item is the head count change, which still gives us $116,000 favorable excess. Now,
Or keep rates flat then.
yep, so now the last thing we've got, just, this is it, is the capital projects. Everything that's in white, okay, on that tab, is going, we're saying is a high priority project, and that's what's in these numbers right now. So we plan on spending $500,000 in chip seal. That equates to, with what we've got as carryover for the next 4 months of this year, or fiscal year, we're gonna basically have close to 5 miles of roads, chip seal, in the next 16 months.
Which roads are?
This year,
That's a good question. Now, the water, or the roads board is now they're gonna come in with their priority listing of roads. And so, not that that's, you know, gonna be the end-all be-all, but they're going to identify ancillary roads, these major artillery roads first.
Well, that will help determine what we're gonna do with things.
The other one is those road maintenance costs that we put in the operating budget for general fund. You know how we did all the dust guard, all those things? That's where, just typical maintenance, like today, they were doing the road grading on my road. That is not capital.
No, I
This-
understand what that is,
Yeah.
but that's it's still gonna determine like as far as like the pothole eradication. So,
But that wouldn't be a capital item.
Yeah.
It's maintenance.
but you have an under.
No, but I didn't show it as a budget item in here. I'm saying that it's included, see
Oh,
that column in
sorry.
ops?
then ops, yeah, okay.
We've included that in the operations expense budget. But I
Oh,
wanted to
that's
show
what
it.
that means. So my concern
Yeah,
is
sorry,
that we
sorry.
put, no, you're fine. I didn't know what that meant. Well, I just assumed it meant it was in operation, like hopefully they were already doing some of that. So that's what I thought it meant.
Yeah, sorry.
As far, oh no, but it makes sense what you said too.
Okay.
So there's a couple things. The tilt trailer for the roller, what is the high priority for that?
So today, for example, Zach had to drive the roller to North Forest. It took over an hour. So you're paying Zach $50 an hour to drive that, and then when they have to get it back, and it is terrible for the road in the summer. If you hit 75 degrees, 80 degrees, and you drive that down Chipsville Road, you just created ridges and a track. Because when you do that road, you gotta do the whole thing to level it out.
So we don't have a trailer for it.
But
Yeah.
we do have multiple trailers, so
But
do
not
we
one
not?
that will carry that much weight.
Support that.
So how much would it be to rent one instead of spending 25 grand for it?
I don't know offhand how much it would cost to rent, but you need to rent it for the year. It's something we use all the time. If we have a water main break, you gotta get our excavator up there.
I just know that we've paid for multiple trailers, so I'm trying to understand why we are moving ahead on
So-
some of this.
This is a very specific trailer, like the one we bought last year was for Firewise stuff. It's a dump trailer. You can load it up, because usually we leased a trailer for 2 or 3 weeks while we did Firewise or whatever cleanup. But this is one we needed every month of the year, and it needs to be able to handle 25,000 pounds or more. So
Oh, up
anything
for
we
the
have,
roller.
Wow, 12 tons?
yeah, the roller weighs like, I think it's 22,500 pounds, and you got a few more things to put on it. The excavator's right in that same weight.
Wow.
So it's not, if you put this on the trailers we have, it would just destroy the trailer. And they're not even wide enough to handle it anyway.
I'm generally supportive of anything that will help improve the roads capital wise.
So in the past, we've moved the roller by driving it. So I'm trying to understand why this is a necessity now.
It's incredibly inefficient. It goes about 4 miles an hour top speed.
I saw.
Yeah, we're causing damage to the road by driving it on the road unless we're doing a project where we're gonna roll the entire section of road. If you just roll it down apart, you're actually creating grooves and sinking the road. It takes forever to get somewhere you need it, so it slows down fixing potholes and fixing roads.
And right now, we have no way other than to drive it
Yeah.
manually to
Yep.
the spots.
Yep. And this is the top priority that the roads board identified that the town needs. So this is where.
So I do have concern about that.
If you have 2 days
because it doesn't
available to do
necessarily fix
pothole work, you can probably get a lot more done
potholes.
than if you have to drive this around quick.
I'm just concerned that if
Yeah.
we're going ahead with
Yeah.
purchasing stuff just for chip sealing.
It is
that
not
we-
just for chip sealing, it is for potholes. It took an hour to get to North Forest to fix the potholes
That's what
today.
it
So
did today.
you lost 2 hours of fixing roads just in driving it, just today. So that's where your efficiency,
So cost benefit analysis would be, you're getting more done in the time frame.
And you get limited season, variable weather, the windows you have to get it done. Yeah, I think you're gonna be efficient on those windows you have to get things fixed.
not to mention we're adding 2 hours of runtime on the engine and wear and tear on the vehicle, fuel, oil change, all that stuff.
So how often, besides chip sealing, do they use the roller?
They use it for fixing potholes. I mean, they use it constantly. The roller is a.
These are on gravel roads, you know. That's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So it's not just for, it's for every road maintenance thing we do, other than something that, maintenance layer, some chip seal, new chip seal, but plus potholes and anything if we dig a meter pit, you you pack that down and you use, like a hammer to pack that, you might end up rolling that too to fix a section. I mean, the roller is key to
I
most everything.
just want to make sure that we're not being redundant here, because we have kept, I mean, this is actually, I think, the third trailer that I will be
Good.
approving. I know, and I just want to say, like, so it's concerning to me that some of this isn't thought through, because we've had that roller forever, and we've had potholes forever, and it hasn't been even brought up that this was an issue, so.
This has been brought up. Zach was arguing this last year, didn't make it anywhere. And you're looking at number of trailers, not what the trailers can do. We
Well,
purchased
that's what I'm
trailers-
saying, like, do we have trailers then that we don't need to?
No,
Okay.
because this is a flatbed tilt trailer. So basically, it's hooked up to a dump truck, and it's like this, you drive a roller on it, and then you level it out. There's no sides on it.
Yeah.
So you can't haul brush on that trailer, you're just gonna drop trees all over the ranch. The ones we bought last year have, you know, a 6-foot or 7-foot side, so we can load that with trees and firefly stuff. We haul junk to the dump, we did it today in that kind of trailer. The dump trailer is not wide enough, nor does it have enough support to handle a vehicle. The excavator or the roller were way too much, it would just, you drilled on that, the whole trailer would just.
So
No,
is that,
and I
French
understand.
is this trailer is that only can be used for the roller, or can it be used for the excavator?
The excavator as well.
So it's multi-purpose.
Yeah.
It says roller, but it's really for.
Yes, you put the backhoe on it. Your backhoe's kind of your immediate action. You break something, you can get that on the road. The excavator's pretty slow, and it'll tear up roads too, because it's a tracked vehicle, not a tire vehicle. So
Will
be
this
used for
fit
our heavy.
the excavator we have now?
Mhm.
Okay.
It,
It's a safety equipment, not clogging up the roadway. as
Sorry,
well.
what were you
Yeah.
gonna say? It will fit the one we have now.
yeah,
Okay. 'Cause-
the one we have now is
So, and I think it really serves what our chairman of the roads board said when he heard we don't already have a tilt trailer? Why? And, well, that's a good question, is kind of what everybody posed, because everybody has a tilt trailer for their roller, an excavator. I mean, they usually have one for each. But anyway.
I would
we-
appreciate knowing the cost of possibly other option as far as leasing, only because I also know that they have fixed potholes and not use the roller, so I'm like, if they're gonna use it and utilize it more, because chip sealing it's not gonna be just for chip sealing, I think was my other concern, like, that they're actually gonna use it
It's gonna
then
be
to
both.
move the roller for, because I mean, they put stuff down and not rolled it, and then it just comes up too quickly.
And part of that is because of how long it takes to get. the
No, and I
roller. So
totally
they
get
just
that.
run a grader and say that's good enough, we don't have time.
Yeah,
And I misspoke, the 306 mini excavator we have now will fit on another flatbed trailer we have. If we got a bigger excavator, a
It
310,
would.
this trailer
It
would
would.
support the 310.
So that's why I'm putting roller and excavator if
Yes.
we decide. And right now, we're not planning on the mid-sized in this budget. We're not increasing,
Heavy equipment trailer.
yeah.
So this trailer would
Yeah.
last probably 20 years, at least 10.
Yeah.
So if we're gonna lease a trailer every year for 10 years, we would pay for that 4 or 5 times over.
I just, okay, I want to make sure it's utilized, so that's why I was like, should we just
Not even
utilize
a
it?
question, it'll
first?
be utilized
Okay.
a ton.
So that's the tilt trailer. The chip seal projects, we're putting in 500,000. We're gonna hear what the roads board has identified as priority roads. And that's gonna be between that and what we're carrying over. It's basically gonna be the 5 miles of roads.
But 21 and 5 are still on for this year, right?
Yes, that's part of the carryover.
Vista goes first, as soon as they're not even, batch plants aren't even making the tar or anything yet. As soon as the ground temperature's gotta be over 45. We want at least 50 consistently, just to make sure the tar sticks. So as soon as we can, we'll do Vista, then we'll finish plat 21.
That could be next week at the rate we're going.
It could be, I like that.
Does the increase in oil cost impact like our tar and like,
It is going to impact
do we know
everything. We
how
don't know.
much? Okay.
It is going up daily,
Yeah.
but we're hoping that this will end soon and things come back down.
And we know, yeah.
But I meant as far as the tar itself, is it usually,
Yeah,
okay.
it's petroleum based, it's gonna be way more so.
So the 5 miles, I think my concern is, like, when I mention the pothole eradication, which is kind of a stupid name for it now at this point, because I feel like it's never eradicated, but the 80,000 that I mentioned was for a half a mile. We have multiple miles, so I understand the chip sealing idea. 5 miles a year is generous, but hopeful for sure. But we have other areas that aren't up for chip seal that need to be evaluated for pothole
So
mitigation or eradication or whatever you want to call it.
this is the thing about that though, you will never get rid of potholes.
No, I understand that, but that is not an excuse to not take care of the road.
We are taking care of them, and go drive around. The guys have been running the grader every single day. But it does not fix the problem permanently. It does not eradicate anything.
Yeah.
I understand,
It's coming
but
back.
there is a way to actually make it a lot better than it's been. So
There-
that's why I'm suggesting the $80,000 that you and I spoke of. We know what that takes and the cost and,
So we've already purchased the mesh to put in the road, but it takes a ton of rock and everything. The thing is though, the long-sighted answer, sight answer instead of the short-sighted answer is you need to pave your roads. And the other issue is drainage. This town was designed to be a summer resort community and there is no drainage in the roads. And that's what causes your potholes.
I understand.
Well,
I-
fixing that problem is not an easy solution, but Larry Johnson is an engineer that's what he did. That's his specialty. He just joined the roads board and we're waiting for his advice as well as Mike Oakland's because that is.
They joined 2 months ago?
Yeah, so
Okay.
I think it's their second meeting.
I think that's why I'm asking now, because people have been dealing with this so long that
Yeah.
at some point it needs to be addressed, besides just the chip sealing, which.
It already
is a
is
good
though, I
idea.
just don't think you understand.
No,
the
I do
difference.
understand. I do understand. You said that they're not fixable completely to go away. I
Well,
understand.
It's not a
but
permanent
that-
fix.
The idea of the $80,000 that I put in there was that we're digging it down 24 inches. I don't know about mesh.
There's 24 inches is way too much. That's to stabilize an unstable road. We're talking 10 inches is all you would do for potholes.
Oh, okay, so like, that's even better, then we don't have to go quite that far. So then it hopefully wouldn't take as long if we're not having to dig up as much. But that's what I'm saying, like that money needs to be allotted to that project because I feel like it's separate than chip sealing.
It is, but
Yeah. And
that's
it,
not a capital project.
But it's a maintenance
Yes,
project.
it's a maintenance.
It's not a
I
capital.
think it becomes more capital when the maintenance isn't maintaining it.
So that's
Like-
what I don't think you understand is how we've changed what's been done in the past. We now, starting last spring and continue on, contract with somebody else to bring another blade in here and another roller and to fix roads. The guys are going through every road and doing a temporary fix on what's here. The bigger ones, we've just ordered stuff that's coming in now. We're stockpiling rock right now. We got 5 trucks running today so we can get road base here to fix some of these issues. We're taking an entirely different approach that's been done in the past. So,
And that's what we were budgeting for in the ops budget, or the operations budget, sorry.
yeah, so,
And
But
that's
how
why,
is
okay,
that-
we're increasing that by 100 grand, right? For
But that's what I'm
pothole.
saying, that's for a half a mile. I'm saying we have other
Well-
areas that actually, don't we need to like say this area, like we're saying with chip sealing, to actually do those chip sealed roads? Like that's part of my issue is just saying 500 grand, like I feel like we should know which roads before we're just.
We will know when the road boards come in. They took
Okay.
the action item, they will come. This next roads board, they're supposed to have their priority list.
Okay, so.
But we just don't have it yet.
It'll be for the 7th, or the 14th or whatever.
Whatever date it is.
So you're telling them you have $500,000, tell us what roads are gonna be fixed. Suggest which roads are gonna
Chip
be
seal.
fixed.
yeah,
Chip seal.
Not
I mean,
Chip sealing, there's also the potholes that.
And it's really, a lot of the work's been done because the grant, a lot of that work had to be done to say, here's the roads and how we would do it. We just had them all kind of lumped in there. Now you have to break it out and say, if we're doing it, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I can guarantee you Vista, those will probably be on there because they're the heaviest trafficked roads that are not paved today.
You're talking Vista East and Vista West?
Yes. That's
Yeah,
my
but they
guess.
also need paved, so. it would
In
be-
the asphalt area.
Yeah, or the
steepness.
asphalt, yeah.
And that's why I'm saying,
So I guess
You
that's
know.
what I'm trying to also say, like, the pothole issue is separate than what we're doing for chip sealing.
correct.
Okay.
And that's why it's in the maintenance.
Okay, so, but
side.
only 80 grand is put towards that, and then.
Well, we have more than that, but I'm just saying your 80 that you targeted.
Okay.
We put $100 and something thousand in there in various aspects of the base, the gravel, the actual labor component going into that. And that's why the allocation was so much greater on the operation, on the road side, year over year.
I just want to make sure that then those potholes are actually getting done, because I know that chip seal is important, but I don't want that to trump like
Yes,
other
I
roads
agree.
that still have been.
Maybe we just need a separate project schedule, report card that you can hang on the bulletin board, just say, here's the project, or the capital expense. Nobody cares, but just say what, where you're trying to
I
spend money
just
this
don't
year.
want chip seal to be.
We're trying to split it in the capital here and in the operations expense.
I know,
The
I
merit
wanna make sure it's
actually
being
said,
addressed.
break out all road maintenance projects in the budget. This is what it just got yesterday.
That's what you need.
That's what
yeah.
we examine. Let's see what they're putting on the chip seal thing first, because we don't know what is the leftover, right?
Well, then what, how do you know what to do as far as potholes right now?
He can only do so much in a year with
No,
his
I
labor.
know.
They're doing
know.
all the roads, every single unpaved road.
But as
right now.
we spoke before, it's like a lot of those areas need to be dug out and crowned.
So that's still a temporary fix. So what is going on right now? They're doing every road for rehab. They started down by the shop and they're moving north. So they were on North Forest today. So every road gets the same initial treatment. For some roads that have some terrible spots, they're even after this, we had to just fill them up for now. We'll dig down at some point and fix those
That's what
roads.
I'm saying. At what point, I know it's short term, but it can be short term 3 to 5 years
No,
versus,
no.
versus 1 to 2 days.
So
which
chip
is what
seal
some
will
people-
need a maintenance later in 3 years.
No, I know chip seal is, but I'm talking about the pothole.
Dirt is every year. This was an unprecedented winter. It never froze, so when we plowed snow, we moved earth as well. We tore up the roads, so we've never had a winter like this before. I hope we never,
I know, but we've had potholes like this every
We have.
And
I mean-
continue. You can fix it. You
Yeah.
cannot. My road,
No, I'm not
you
asking.
can't fix.
No, that's not true. There
you
are
can't
ways.
fix it without crowning it with a base.
That's what I'm saying. So that
That's a
money needs to
capital
be.
project though.
I know. That's why that money needs to be allotted. That's why I.
But we don't
did
have the
research.
money yet.
Because you're putting $500,000 into
Chip seal.
for 5 miles, and we have other people that are dealing with other things.
I'm
than
more,
chip seal.
I live on a pothole street.
Yeah.
I would much rather have chip seal up North Forest, right?
Well, I
Than
suggested
on my
that.
street, because I don't get a lot of traffic, but it's probably one of the most pothole, I mean, it fills in with water.
Trust me, I know. I've driven it.
So again, I'm not worried about it. As long as we've got a project that is this, and we're making progress towards the end goal of having every road in this town.
I understand.
Chip seal or
For 10 to 12 years.
If we get the
hopefully.
grant, it's gonna
Yeah.
be a lot faster than that.
Because we're doing it?
Because
We'll have the money.
to do it.
Yeah.
We don't have the money in the reserves to go out and
Well,
spend $1
I
million.
hope we get the grant, like, I totally agree, but I
Yeah.
have citizens that I am concerned
I
because
know.
they have pothole issues that have not been dealt with for years.
Yeah.
So they are being dealt with, but it is not a permanent fix, and that's what people want. So if you want it to go more, I need more people. I need a tilt trailer, and I need more money. This is a time and money thing. The guys can do anything. If you give them enough money and equipment, they can do anything.
I can see with a chip seal that that's the hope, and I understand that. I just am like, that doesn't help some of these people that have, issues with potholes that have been going on, and it's been ridiculous, so.
We have taken an entire different approach to how we handle potholes, though. And it's continuing on. There are some people that will never be happy no matter what you do.
No, that's not the reason that this is a problem.
But my
I don't
argument
think we need
is,
to blame it on that.
I was excited to get on the council to get back to 2 basic points, roads and water. And we've done a really good job focusing on water. We've got a couple of things left. Roads, that's now the new project, a hot button. We all need better roads, but it doesn't happen in a
Oh,
year,
I know
2
that.
years. So that's,
I know.
again, let's see what priorities come up. We'll incorporate those in. At least people then are informed, oh, when is my road coming? Because
This
again,
is why the roads board is not prioritized. You can't get from here to there overnight. You have to have a road map to get there, no pun intended.
but
roads board is supposed to weigh in on what makes the most sense here and there, based on the professional expertise we have in the retiree base.
But I
Yeah,
think
and you
Trevor's,
also need a town council that'll listen to that rant, so thank you.
but Trevor is trying to say, we'll never forget potholes. They've got to continue to come to my street, to North Forest. It's, because every time they grade it, guess what? Somebody spins their tires coming out on the muddy string, and then you got new potholes.
Yeah, I
And-
think
and-
it's more like the time that we put into fixing the potholes and they're still not being fixed is what I'm talking about.
What you
So
could
if
do
you
is chip
are saying
seal
this new plan they have is
for
good,
50 feet.
You could do
Because
that.
that's where everybody's spinning their tires
but
on
you
the
would
dirt.
still have to dig down and then put
Yes,
a
but that
crown
could be
up
part of the chip seal project too.
by
The-
doing
the
it, what, every
apron
50
50,
feet?
no, the 50 feet coming in where the potholes are generated, it's because of the driving that takes place on those spots.
No, and it's also the foundation of those roads, they've been,
Yes,
Down.
but that's been because it's where it is geographically.
The side loading of tires will throw that stuff out.
Yep, and that's exactly what happens to North Forest. Every time you grade it, and then people get there and they go, oh, I gotta hit the gas now. And they're spinning that down, and it's just going into a new pothole. So, or the old one that's just under the surface. Nobody knows how to really go slow on the muddy string. You can't, because somebody may be coming, especially up over that hill. That's just one area that has a topography issue for why you get potholes. My drainage is really bad because we've got all those lakes.
but that's what I'm saying, that's the sort of
Fix
stuff that if we can fix, I want us to be able to fix it.
I do too.
And I don't find any excuse why we can't, so that's why.
Well, money is the only thing that we
Well,
don't
even
have
when we
yet.
have money, they're still not being fixed, is what I'm saying. Like, they have not been a priority for the 4 years that I've almost been on
Yes,
council.
and even longer
And so
than that.
that's why I'm trying to address it.
13 years, I've seen those potholes and we've been in the same
Yeah.
place. So
Yeah.
I get it, and I feel for it because I want it done worse than anybody. I'm tired of having a dirty truck.
I'm tired of my constituents complaining about that
I know.
and nothing being done, it feels like.
Well,
So just be cautious because there's a lot being done. It sounds like you've made up your mind and you're not wanting to hear what I'm trying to say.
Actually, I haven't made up my mind, except that I just want them fixed and
So don't
addressed.
take what you've been done because the guys take
Okay.
offense to that. Because
Okay.
they're working very hard.
we are
And
3
I
minutes
understand,
away from the
I have
end.
complimented them on that, actually, before,
haven't done
but it's
these
not
scheduled yet.
fixing the situation, so
I know,
maybe
I
that's
got,
the
I gotta go
issue.
home
I
and
don't
eat
know.
before the council meeting. So let's do this. The trench box is for safety purposes, and once you've identified a safety concern on the ranch, you better do it. Because if something happens and that were to cave in,
Yeah,
you'd
surprised
be
they never on
sued.
Snow Forest, that deep pit they were down.
It's part of all our minutes now. I always warn people, if you're gonna bring up a safety issue, don't do it in a public meeting, because you're liable at that point in time and you have to do it. So the trench box is for safety. The sanders, there's 2 of them in there, if you wanna just give a 10-second, 15-second overview.
Yeah, just basically the amount of use on the sanders, the gears inside come apart. We've welded them, we've fixed them, and they're just at the point where we can't patch them anymore.
And how old are they?
I don't know the
Okay,
answer.
I mean, they're old.
Yeah,
It's not like they're 5 years old, or
Yeah.
new. Okay,
So they're $5,000 a piece? Okay.
okay, and the Boss plow?
so there's one plow, we call it the Franken plow, where it was actually 3 plows that broke and we took pieces, it's welded together. It's kind of functional, but most of what we did last year was just with the trucks and plows, because the roads weren't frozen enough to use heavy equipment, so it is just time to let the Franken plow go.
Okay. And so then you look at the other ones on here, we've pulled these, we haven't included them. Let's see what the council thinks about it tonight. I just want to show them, because I'm not here to say what's yay or nay, I'm just saying we didn't include these as far as cost. Because some would say, well, do we need that? Anyway, it gets into a long story.
Vacuum truck would be useful, that's my 2 cents.
Yes, and so, again, we'll have these conversations, this is the first cut, I didn't want to change it, but again, they could change over the course of various meetings that we have.
Is the paint inside town hall, is that for the whole building?
Yes, all, the whole entire inside, he
Is some-
said.
Is somebody working for free? That's like so cheap.
No, we pay for labor.
Oh, our guys are gonna do
Quinn
it.
was a professional painter prior to this, so
Oh.
the guys can do it if we choose to do that as a project.
But when, so would that be like a winter project?
You could do it in the winter, or you could do it in sections. You could do room by room, so you don't have to do the entire thing start to finish. You could do this room, and then a month later, do 2 offices.
Okay.
But these are just projects that are out there. We may not happen this year, but they'll probably pop on the list next year again. So, and then on the water side, the Prater delivery line it was authorized for 1.2 million spend last year. We've spent some money, there's a lot of engineering going on, but now we're gonna get into the May and June of next year, of 2027, and we're gonna start spending some money on that delivery line. And that will just be the beginning of it that exhausts the rest. But that's the spend part of 2027's budget. Pumps for the well house and the motors, we've got to get those. They're beyond, at this point in time, their useful life.
Yeah, 10,000 hours on a pump is that's,
How many is that for each well house?
3.
Because I thought we already bought one.
so we rebuilt some pumps.
Oh,
So
okay.
you still have parts in there that have X amount of hours on them.
Okay.
So it's 3 what we have and what we're replacing? I see there's a quantity here of 3. So does that mean we have 3 and we're replacing 3, or is?
So we have 3, and what we should do for the wells, we can just buy 1 pump, put it on the shelf. And if one blows up tomorrow, we have one. They're just gonna go up in cost, and that pump will work at any well.
So to back up.
The other problem is at Green Canyon, those 3 pumps work in conjunction, so you can't replace one. You have to replace all 3 of them, and it's a pump and motor combination. That one's a little more complex, so.
But that's not in this 50,000, or it is?
50,000 would be 1 pump, it's 150 for Green Canyon pumps, it's the next line down.
Oh, sure, okay, I see that, yes.
So,
Oh, okay,
2 different things we really need to talk about.
understood.
I'd be very comfortable if we had 1 extra pump for a well on the shelf somewhere though.
Well, that's the thing, that's the idea, because you don't want to be without it.
Is it for the 3 though, it says pumps for well house, is that for each of the well?
It would be 45,000 per well house, but
Okay.
if we have 1, because we have 3 functional.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you just want this one on the shelf?
Yeah,
It's a-
I got it.
it's a
for the day
spare.
when one blows up.
Okay,
Think of it as a spare.
yeah, no, that's fine.
Okay. And then the last one is the truck box, which is, I guess, it's so dilapidated now, it's rusting, it's falling
rusted.
apart.
Yeah,
You
so
need
the
to put a
tools
new
inside,
box on.
I mean, they try to weld stuff
Okay,
but you open it up to get a tool, it's just covered in
it's
mud.
maintenance capital,
Yeah.
okay?
And what vehicle does that go on?
It would go on the black water truck.
So the big, like metal part on the back
Yeah,
that
it's
has
like
all
a
the.
big bed with
Okay,
tools.
'Cause I'm sorry, I was like, $6,000 seems hefty, but
It's-
for
it's a
that
big
huge
box.
one.
Somewhere over
Okay.
20, but
Yeah.
we're not getting the
We're not
deluxe edition.
buying it for that.
And
house.
there's a couple of projects we moved to medium, the small Prater tank lining and then the robo roller. But again, we've got some work to do. This is version 1. And, it definitely, if you go through a conversation for 2 hours like we have, the next round makes it easier because there's just slight variations, very slight. So, but have we missed anything before we turn it back over to Rand?
We could get into more detail, I may have a different solution than a back truck.
Okay.
Talk about tonight if you want, but,
And do you expect tonight to go any faster?
no.
Okay.
Not at all.
So maybe, yeah, just say, hey, I may have another solution for version 2.
Okay.
Because again, we're gonna have changes.
Well, I think
I'm
I
not
can buy
afraid of
it now,
that.
I think I have the money this year to buy what we need.
Oh, this year,
So we can just drop that out of there.
okay, all right.
But
Well-
it's $26,000. I think the council should know where that money's going. before
Well,
we-
absolutely, yeah, but that's a 2026 issue, not a
Yeah.
budget for 2027, okay. I may put a note here just so I don't forget.
What's that, Trevor? Which one? Is it one of the
vac
capitals?
truck? Yeah, I think we could probably, I don't think we're gonna get one for that,
Oh, the vacuum truck?
Yeah.
Okay.
and everybody in the
I
world.
saw them, I saw one of those used here down here, I watched the process, installing
Yeah.
fiber optic lines, and that's pretty amazing.
They're pretty
So,
cool. Yeah, they
it's a
put
very
fiber optic
efficient
in
locate your
on my
things,
street
you're not
this
tearing up
week.
cables and internet and wiring.
Amazing.
We're never gonna get it.
They sucked it right, and then they had 2 guys holding the wire in their hands down at the back to, I guess, not let it go so fast, but anyway. Okay, any last words? Because again, we're gonna have this.
That's what I have is, when do we have to do the fee schedule? Because I got a lot of comments on fee schedule, we're out of time.
When do you have to do it? We're doing it as part of the budget, because the budget would have these fees in it.
Can we wait until, late April or something to go over this in a separate meeting?
Well, you can give it the feedback, and then we'll, if you don't like something or whatever, make a recommendation to the council.
You want to do it now then, or later, that's what I'm asking. It's hard to do all.
Well, that's why I'm saying, why don't you make the recommendation and we'll take it under consideration as a council? If you have strong feelings on one or another, just submit it.
Well, I can
And-
type them up on the, and you think the schedule is sent out,
Okay.
some of them.
And if you're-
Talk about the person.
If your
Takes a while
board,
to describe things.
if your board is in agreement with whatever your opinion is, as a board, that would be the way I would suggest it and recommend it, is the board, the FAB, recommends these items. Okay? Because it just makes it
When the
easier
other
for
crowd
us.
members review the fee schedule?
I looked at it.
I may send out something around and tell you the things I've got, and you can add some thoughts or whatever, but I'd really like to do a ABC costing and some of these, but barring that, there's some shortcuts we can do in the interim.
We are gonna split the fee schedule up into one for water and one for general. So there'll be two different fee schedules, but they'll be independent of one another, not all combined in one fee schedule.
And what was that? Why do you want to do that?
Because it makes it easier for just to be able, if you're looking for general versus water, you know where to go.
Gotcha.
It's not 4 pages. It's gonna be like the building guys, the contractor or GCs, they're looking at just one. They're not worried about the water.
Mhm.
So, or general. But anyway,
But,
okay,
yeah, we can figure that out.
Rand,
I
I'll
don't think it
turn
has to be the first reading, so we can.
thank you all for your input. Dave and John, appreciate it. And, thank you.
Do we have meeting dates? That's something on the.
The
Agenda.
next
If I do, then I say maybe very general, saying that we reviewed the budget, and I'm not gonna get into specifics, I'd be 100 pages long. So, we got AI thing again, so I may just do some, it'll be reflected in the first reading.
But are we meeting again about this, or? when's our next meeting?
I will continue to send out the next version, because again, the council we're gonna go through our thing tonight. I've gotta make changes, and then we'll put the first reading together, which will be similar to this, but if we make changes tonight, I'll incorporate it in, and it'll be ready to go out in 10 days prior to our next council. So, and then,
We can continue review and comment.
yep, and we got 2 more readings after that, and maybe before we get to the June reading, we'll know if we got a grant or not, which changes a lot. So,
So we don't have another meeting about the budget?
unless you guys want one, it's up to you. If you want me to come and go through a version 2, I can. It's up to you.
It'd be easier to figure out once the rep, Dave and I are back up there, it's just trying to get things wrapped up, and then it's hard to do this stuff from afar.
Well, I would leave Arizona now because it's too hot down there, and this is like great up here right now.
I'm entangled in all kinds of things down here, so I get that done soon.
Well, that's his fault. Sounds like a personal problem.
Yeah, well, no, nobody does anything, you start doing stuff, and they let you do it all.
Okay, well, time to close.
Thanks, everyone,
Thank you.
we'll be up there as soon as we can.
Okay.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks. Appreciate it. We get to do this one more time today.
So is there, I was looking through the town website, regarding the annexation,
Yeah.
and